when it comes to putting names to advisors or numbers to policy proposals, Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn and his beguiling economic cohort John McDonnell like to keep things vague. But as Richard Sharp of the Bank of England's Financial Policy Committee argued in his University College London speech on Thursday, when debt levels are high, nations can ill afford crisis or a new splurge of borrowing. In Britain, the ratio of debt to national output, or GDP, will have jumped from 50.2% in 2008 to a peak of 88.9% in 2018, according to the International Monetary Fund. This is by no means the worst among the G7 industrial countries. Japan's debt stands at 240% of GDP, Italy at 131%, and the US at 107.9%. Top of the class is Germany, with debt at 61.8% of GDP. Japan and Italy have been historic outliers because citizens in both countries are inclined to trust government bonds for their savings. The UK's vulnerability is different. Because we are such an open economy, a larger proportion of our debt tends to be in the hands of foreigners who can be easily scared off. There is no ideal level of debt. Economists Carmen Reinhart and Kenneth reckon that 90%, perilously close to where Britain is now, is not a line to be safely crossed. Latest forecasts from the Office for Budget Responsibility show a steady decline in debt to 79.1% of GDP by 2022-23. That takes no notice of the Brexit bill or a Labour government.It is simple for Labour to suggest that railways could be nationalised by issuing bonds to existing owners. But that would raise government debt and transfer borrowings made by the train companies from the private to the public sector. The cost of doing this for water, power, the national grid, Royal Bank of Scotland and much else would be off the map. That is before Corbyn even starts to contemplate forgiveness of student loans, £250 billion extra of infrastructure investment, and a splurge on public sector pay. Just keeping government borrowing ticking over is hard enough, with a financing requirement of £59 billion over the next 5 years. The financial crisis demonstrated how quickly the national debt can surge in times of slowdown or bursting bubbles. If countries are close to the limits, as Britain is now, the lack of fiscal space can destroy economies. It can be no accident that Sharp raised the specter of how Marxism destroyed Venezuela's AAA-rated economy. Virgin, Vodafone and others are making a great push on fiber. Ofcom boss Sharon White is far less enamored with the investment being made by BT. It has unveiled plans to bring fiber to 10 million homes by the mid-2020s, dependent on higher bills. The national priority is for business and households to get fiber. Jan du Plessis, appointed in March as BT chairman, has a chance to reset with Ofcom, speed up ultra-fast rollout, and provide less chaotic customer service. It must be made to happen. Apple uses its cloud to defenestrate those with whom it does business. Imagination Technologies has been blown out of the water, and reading-based dialogue Semiconductor is the latest UK victim. In the US, Qualcomm has filed 3 new patent infringement notices against Apple, claiming there are 16 more of its patents being used in the iPhone. Abuse of market power should be an obvious target for US trust busters.